As we all know, Rimuru Tempest is considered to be the protagonist of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime and is extremely overpowered. But what if I told you there's a hidden protagonist so powerful that not even the strongest beings are able to defeat him? Yes, I'm talking about one of Rimuru's most powerful subordinates, the god GOBTA. Although he often acts as the comic relief, GOBTA can be really dangerous when he is given enough incentives to do so. That's why in this video, we'll be taking a look at how powerful the god GOBTA truly is. As always, I will be including information from the light novel, so here's a spoiler warning for everyone just in case. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Tensura content.
いっぱい食べたらおっぱいも育つっすかね。
GOBTA was part of the original goblins present in the goblin village that Rimuru visited when he first got out of the sealed cave. After Rimuru helped defend the goblin village from the direwolf's attack, he named all the goblins present, making GOBTA part of the first group of monsters to be given a name by Rimuru. Funny enough, when it was GOBTA's turn to be named, Rimuru actually ran out of ideas, so he just went with GOBTA, which is simply derived from the word goblin. After receiving their names, all the goblins evolved into hobgoblins, having their forms changed to be more human-like, although GOBTA and a few others did evolve, but their forms remained the same as when they were goblins. Hobgoblins all have threat levels that vary between D to A depending on other factors like equipment and armor, as well as the individual's class and skills. For GOBTA's case, when he first evolved into a hobgoblin, he only had the threat level of C, but it does eventually get higher as the series progresses. Despite GOBTA is often portrayed as a joke, he's actually a very competent individual when the situation calls for it, and he often manages to pull out some crazy stunts on the battlefield that always surprises others, especially Rimuru. For example, when Rimuru, GOBTA, and some of the other hobgoblins went to the armed nation of Dwagon to find skilled artisans, only Rimuru and GOBTA went inside. However, before they entered the city, they were detained by the dwarves because of a minor confrontation that happened outside. Rimuru was later released after he provided a barrel of full potion to heal Kaido's friends, leaving a sleeping GOBTA tied up inside the prison cell, and he somehow managed to slip through everything that happened in the city. Of course, we all know Rimuru forgot about GOBTA and he went back to the village with the dwarves and the other hobgoblins. And through some sheer determination from the tied up GOBTA, he managed to use the skills Stock Communication and Shadow Step to call upon his own direwolf, unexpectedly learning a new skill by himself and escaping imprisonment from Dwagon. Apparently, none of the hobgoblins could even do it until GOBTA, so either he's a prodigy or he's just extremely lucky. Moving on, Rieger, GOBTA, and some of the hobgoblins would eventually form the Goblin Riders, where GOBTA would be the vice captain too, but he eventually replaces Rieger as the captain when he stepped down to be a diplomat for the Tempest Federation. That said, GOBTA was able to refine his talents even further when the Kijins joined Tempest because Hakuro, one of the Kijins, used to be a renowned swordsman and instructor who even tutored the Hero King Gazer Dwago when he was younger. Thanks to Rimuru naming him, Hakuro was able to regain some of his youth and he would take on GOBTA and a few other hobgoblins as students, teaching them fighting techniques and even swordsmanship. Because of Hakuro's training, GOBTA was able to refine his innate talents and he actually became quite proficient with the sword and improved his overall battle instincts. He even used his newly developed instincts when Ranga put him up against Gabiru, who at the time was a hazard class grad. Granted, he was also motivated by the fact that if he loses, he had to eat Shion's cooking. Going off on a tangent, GOBTA actually acquired poison resistance after the Great Sage told Rimuru to feed Shion's food to him. I mean, surviving Shion's cooking is already an amazing feat, worthy of praise. Back to the fight, in terms of raw power, GOBTA would have easily lost, but he was able to take advantage of Gabiru's overconfidence by throwing his spear as a feint and using Shadow Step to sneak up behind. Then copying the roundhouse kick that Rimuru used on him earlier, GOBTA easily knocked Gabiru out and won the fight, showing how capable he is when given enough reasons. Also, as a reward for beating Gabiru, GOBTA was given an enchanted Kodachi created by Kurobe. This sword actually had two magic gems inside which allowed GOBTA to cast Icicle Lance and Black Lightning. Additionally, the scabbard of the sword worked like a railgun, allowing GOBTA to fire projectiles when he energizes it with Black Lightning, making it the first firearm in their world, another reason why he's a badass. But moving on, GOBTA would then continue to train under Hakuro, eventually growing his threat level to that of a rank B. But here's the funny thing, when Hakuro was trying to teach GOBTA to acquire the extra skill Danger Sense that gave the user a sort of sixth sense for detecting danger, no matter what method was used, GOBTA never seemed to grasp the concept of it, and he only somehow managed to acquire the extra skill after he had to eat Shion's food again. At this point, I think Shion's cooking might be a better teacher than Hakuro. Jokes aside though, GOBTA did seriously get stronger when Rimuru awakened as a true demon Demon Lord. Because of the Harvest Festival gift, Gobta along with the other Goblin Riders received the extra skill known as Unification, which allows them to merge with their Star Wolf partners, boosting their overall strength while combining both the individual strength into one. So based on where we stop in the anime, a fully equipped Gobta along with his Star Wolf has at least a threat level of a Hazard class, making him essentially the strongest Hobgoblin in the series. And moving on, during the Tempest Federation Founders Festival, Rimuru held a battle tournament and he had forced Gobta to participate. Of course, Gobta wanted to throw the match, but after Rimuru promised him a new fishing rod if he wins, he now had a reason to be serious. And surprisingly, during the tournament, Gobta was able to defeat Gaia, the Flowing Swordsman, who had a threat level of a lower Hazard class, and the ex-Demon Lord Carrion, who was a known disaster level threat, by relying on his wits and adept combat coordination, or to put it simply, Gobta was just fighting dirty. The fight against Gaia, he got help from Ranga, who snuck into his summoning, so it wasn't really his fault. But his fight against Carrion, he deliberately summoned Ranga, which caused him to attain the unique skill Demon Wolf Summoning, an evolved version of the extra skill Unification, which now basically allows Gobta to summon Ranga if he wanted to. Gobta actually managed to defeat Carrion by targeting the mask he was wearing, because he was trying to hide his identity, which caused him to lose balance while Ranga pushed him out of the ring and disqualifying him. It's not an honorable way to win, but Gobta really showed how resourceful he can be when facing against opponents far stronger than him. During the finals, Gobta had to fight against the Lightspeed hero Masaki Honjo, where he unveiled another new unique skill called Demon Wolf Unification. Using this skill paired with Demon Wolf Summoning, it allowed Gobta to fuse with Ranga and become a powerful werewolf. In this form, Gobta's threat level would be raised to that of a disaster class, and honestly, Gobta would have won the tournament if he wasn't an idiot. Because this was the first time he tried this transformation, he wasn't able to control his power and straight up knocked himself out by crashing into the wall. Masuki won, and although Gobta got second place, he was able to earn the title as the final member of the 4 Heavenly Kings, putting him on the same level as Benimaru, Shion and Diablo, but only in name of course. But no worries, after the tournament, Gobta and Ranga were taken hostage by Milim because she was so impressed by the transformation she wanted to train them. So yes, Gobta managed to impress and even receive personal training from Milim herself. Considered to be one of the strongest beings in the world, if that isn't impressive, I don't know what is. During this hellish training period, Gobta was able to acquire the extra skill stage, and the skill helps to increase the thought processing speed of the user and allows for the user to carry out precise actions. That said, after the training, Gobta mastered the transformation and now paired it with his genius level fighting instincts, he became a truly powerful being worthy of the title of the 4 Heavenly Kings. This was evident during the Eastern Empire assault on Tempest. Although he and the Goblin Riders were outnumbered by the magical tanks of the Eastern Empire, he did not panic and still commanded his troops efficiently, intentionally running away to force the enemies to show all their cards and waited for the perfect opportunity to attack. And when Rimuru gave the orders to counterattack, Gobta summoned Ranga from his shadows and they transformed into their werewolf form. During this fight, Gobta showed his true fighting instincts, using Black Lightning to first immobilize the magical tanks, then he proceeded to release a powerful roar to shatter the barriers protecting the tanks, and once he got through, he used his newly developed skill Blizzard Wolf Dance to create a powerful tornado of destruction to decimate thousands of tanks on the battlefield. Afterwards, we all know the battle ended with the Eastern Empire defeated for the time being, and Rimuru held a reward ceremony to commemorate their victory, but it was mainly just an excuse for them to evolve the 12 patrons into true demon lords. Sadly, Gobta did not meet the requirements to awaken as one, but he did receive an official permission to speak to Rimuru informally as a gift. It may not seem like much, but to the rest of the subordinates, this privilege was likely one of the greatest gifts anyone can receive, because it technically means that Gobta and Rimuru now have the same social standing. But I think there's a more practical reason why Gobta only received this gift, because Rimuru probably knew Ranga could awaken as a true demon lord, so it was technically an indirect gift for Gobta as well. Because whenever they transform, Gobta is able to receive all the skills Ranga has, so in a way it doesn't really matter if Gobta receives anything as long as Ranga is getting something. As for the skills that Ranga will receive after he awakens as a true demon lord, I won't go over it here because I think Ranga deserves his own video explaining how powerful he is, so stay tuned for his future video. Just know that Gobta and Ranga's transformation after awakening as a true demon lord makes Gobta part of the Super Awakened class. But anyways, Gobta might not be the most powerful, but he's definitely the most badass. I mean, he's the only subordinate that has a gun, the only person that is allowed to talk to Rimuru informally and summon Ranga anytime he wants. He even managed to impress Milim so much that she wanted to train him and praised by Carrion for his fighting instincts. Despite being a lazy idiot, Gobta really is unironically the true hidden protagonist. So what about you? Do you also think Gobta is a literal god and the hidden protagonist of Tensura? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give the video a like, subscribing to the channel and hitting that notification bell for more Tensura or other anime content in the future. As always, thanks for watching and stay safe everyone.